So I just rolled up to the Casa Grande National Monument. This is a Native American monument. It is a structure that was built by the Hohokam, and I don't think that was their name. They just I don't think they found a writing system or anything to kind of name them appropriately. But I learned about them in one of my Native American classes. I think my agricultural class, because they used canals here in the desert, and that was relevant to what we were learning in class. So I'm like still driving back to Oregon from the Texas Eclipse Festival, but I definitely wanted to like see something on the way back, and there's so many incredible and awesome Native American ruins and history and national monuments here in Arizona. I just don't have time to see them all, but if anybody is in the area, definitely stop by and see some of them and pay your respects, because this is freaking awesome. This is history right here.
When I was looking around for Native American ruins, I did see on Google Maps that there were some name changes, but I couldn't find a name change for Casa Grande. Casa Grande was named so by the Spanish. In the past, in Arizona, there has been some progress in honoring the original ancestral languages and cultures of the land, so certain monuments and landscapes have been renamed. But I definitely want to encourage all states to take this approach, to the states, provinces, and countries all over the world to honor the native caretakers of the land by honoring the language through the naming of landmarks and cultural sites. To give the land back its rightful language and honor the ancestral caretakers, the names of the people that still exist, whose ancestors still lay buried in people's backyards and ranches, let's recognize the history. Now for Casa Grande and the iconic 4-story and 11-room building of unknown purpose that characterizes this monumental site. There are a lot of unknowns about the people that lived here, where they went and why they left, but what is certain is that this was a thriving community that used an extensive canal system to meet their water demands for agriculture. I was told that the water table was higher back then, so a potential reason for them leaving was that water was not abundant and couldn't support the people living here anymore.
And there's like some graffiti and such. People etched their names in there because they thought there was something. Always respect history. Nice and cool in here. They say the walls of this compound line up north, south, east, west perfectly. So they're not sure if this is for astronomical purposes. They just don't know. So I asked the park ranger how many people lived in this compound, and he said about 400 to 450. And there are 3 other compounds re-excavated. They were covered back up to prevent further erosion, but there isn't a whole lot left of them. And I asked if there were any remains of the people who lived here, and they said that there's no evidence that there were any remains here. But the park ranger said that the native tribes aren't talking, so potentially they took the remains to protect them. But I was just curious if there was any like evidence of remains, because supposedly people lived here. There was human waste found and such, so this definitely was a place where people lived. I definitely have 100% respect and support for the native communities who have to watch like tourists come into their area all the time. I hope that in the future it will change so that any income, any money, any support can go to the tribes that have ancestral ties to this area. So here's another building, not sure what it was for, what it was used for. There aren't any plaques that explain the buildings and what was found there. There unfortunately was a lot of looting. This is super cool, oh my gosh. I just think it's so cute. So tiny. Do it. But I mean, people were here once. This is just so cool. Look, you can see some of the structure. You are a mystery, but you are remembered. Yeah, the main structure over there is very eroded and crumbling, so you can't really go inside of it. You can kind of look inside though, and it's incredible. There's a lot of like graffiti from, you know, people in the past before it was protected, like etched into the stone and stuff. Like, be respectful to historical sites and don't take anything from them. Like, there's so much knowledge that is lost when people interfere with history like that. So this is a really short stop off of I-10. It's not a very vigorous walk. The sun is really hot right now, but it's really great. It's big. It's really big. There's not a whole lot left of the ruins, except for the house, the main house, but you know, it's history right here. And the museum is very informative, and I definitely encourage you to come visit if you're in southern Arizona, if you're on I-10. It's just like 30 minutes off of I-10. Definitely come for a visit and pay your respects to this beautiful place.
An interesting feature that I noticed when I was here was that there weren't a lot of doors getting into some of the buildings, and there were absolutely no doors on the outer wall. It was found that there were ladders that appeared to be used to scale the wall to get into the complex, which to me sounds like a lot of unnecessary work. I mean, consider all the resources that you're harvesting outside of the complex and then bringing them inside the complex, and you have to lift those over the wall. If you were trying to keep animals out, you could just make a door. So I thought that maybe it flooded in the area, but they said that there wasn't evidence that flooding occurred, at least to the degree to keep it out with a wall. So maybe it was to discourage other people from breaching the complex? I don't know. What do you think? I definitely like how thick these walls are, because you're definitely not hearing your neighbors with over a foot of dirt between you. Just how I like it.
And just a last note, if you have any artifacts from any sacred sites, any historical sites at all, please return them home. There are ways to do that anonymously. You can send them in a package without a return address, maybe a note where you found them, any information that you have about it, because that would mean so much, not just to the tribes and those who had ancestral ties to the land, but to truth seekers and archaeologists who, because the evidence that you have could paint a much more deeper understanding of what happened in the past. It would mean so much. So if you do have any artifacts for any historical sites, please return them home. Thank you.